Hey everybody, I'm Diane Gale and I am the author of the blog sustainableslowliving.com, and today I want to share with you the way that I like to spend a slow living winter afternoon. There are many variations to an afternoon like this because of course, it all depends on what's going on in your life at the time, but the idea of slow living is to enjoy the moment, to savor the simple things, to live sustainably, to live in tune with nature, to bring good, wholesome, homegrown, preservative-free, chemical-free, or I should say pesticide-free, hormone-free, local food into your life, and sustainable, chemical-free cleaning products that don't harm your environment. It's kind of all about going back to an earlier time, but not necessarily sacrificing all modern conveniences. And a lot of us can't live this lifestyle fully because of the demands that are put on us, by just our daily lives, right? But I have managed to get myself into a position where I can live it on a level that pleases me. I have every intention of continuing to let that lifestyle blossom and grow because it's very important to me. But I would just like to share an afternoon, a slow living winter afternoon with you, just to inspire you to engage in more of this lifestyle yourself, to just provide examples of the simple things that you can do, particularly in the winter time when you want to just slow down for the day. I spent most of my life suffering from sort of a low level seasonal affective disorder, which is basically a seasonal depression. Depression is something I fight all the time anyway, and now that I'm older at 57, I have gotten very good at using tools to fight depression, and I don't spend a lot of time depressed. But the seasonal affective disorder, I pay very close attention to it because it could very easily send me into a little spiral with depression. And it's very easy to kind of get down in the winter time, and you just, everything is dreary and it's cold and you can't do all the things you want to do, and it's just easy to feel like life isn't, giving you everything that it has to offer or everything that you want to grasp from it. But the fact is, the winter is a great time to spend time looking inward, to engage in activities that you don't have time for the rest of the year. I actually have another post on slow living hobbies, that I will link down below that you can check out so that you can get some ideas for some of the things that you can spend time doing. This is the perfect time to just take a breath, slow down, and enjoy the season. And so today, the morning has already passed. I spent some time working on blog posts online, And I ate a few farm fresh eggs on some fresh baked baguette. And I'm kind of ready to move into the afternoon, and I want to share that with you. So I would like to start by getting a loaf of homemade no-knead bread ready to go in the oven later today. Making homemade bread for me is such a simple pleasure. It's just, there's something very rustic, very primitive about the experience. And just having fresh homemade bread to eat with your meals is a real treat. Store-bought breads are so full of preservatives that they keep on store shelves for a very long time, and then in our own kitchens for, you know, up to a week usually, sometimes more. And I just prefer not to have that in my food. Besides, doing this little bit of work in the early afternoon before my day really gets started will provide me with bread throughout the entire week. And that's quite a treat. And later, when it's time to turn the oven on to put this bread in, it's gonna warm the whole kitchen. And if you're at home enjoying a lazy winter afternoon, a warm kitchen is a very nice thing to have. This recipe is very easy to make. Really, anyone can do it. And it literally takes just minutes. So walking was a very regular part of my routine when I was in Maine, and also when I was in California. I am not one who embraces exercise. I am a person who wishes that I was the one who worked out at the gym, but I don't. However, I love the great outdoors, even in the winter when it makes my cheeks red and it makes my eyes water. And it's so important that we embrace physical movement and stretching as well. I stretch, I have trouble with my neck and my shoulder, you know, and my knee and my ankle and well, a lot of things now as I'm getting older. And so stretching is very important. But even in the winter, I like to get out and I like to try to fit in a walk. Now, we've been having really, really beautiful days, and today is not. I don't know if you can see the tiny flakes. They're very tiny, but there's snowflakes in the air, and it's very cold, much colder than it's been. But I still wanted to take an opportunity, you know, to get out and just get the blood flowing. It's so good for your overall well-being. I just think that it's a very, very important part of the day, and it should not be put aside in the winter. So here I am. I've already seen a beautiful little flock of birds. I wish I could have caught them on camera. The last time I was here, I saw some ducks, you know, wading in the water and taking flight to another spot downstream. And I just enjoy being out here and communing with nature. It is, like I said, very good physically and mentally and spiritually as well. So it is definitely always a part of my slow living afternoons. And I'm trying to get back into the routine of making it a part of my everyday, the way that it was in Maine and in California. I was only able to walk for about a half hour or so. The wind was really brutal today, but it was still really nice to get out. Now I'm home and I've checked on that bread, and it's gonna take probably another hour for it to rise. So I'm gonna settle in with a good book This is a book by Joe Dispenza that actually my cousin owns and I've been wanting to read, so I can get a start on it this afternoon. I don't always get a lot of time to read the rest of the year, and I like to take full advantage of these winter afternoons when I'm indoors to spend a little bit of time reading. Reading is something that I used to do. I was an avid reader, so I miss it a lot. I made myself a cup of tea. A lot of times in a slow living winter afternoon, I will make chai spiced cacao, and that's something that I've made for the blog and that I've done a video about here on YouTube. I'll put a link for that down below. It doesn't take very long to make, but it is measuring out the spices. There's a little bit of a process, and with me kind of filming the afternoon today, I wanted to skip that and do something a little simpler and just have a really nice cup of tea. And I lit myself a candle. This is a cranberry jalapeno jelly candle that I had from Christmas time. And I am going to sit and I am going to enjoy the scents wafting from that candle. I'm going to enjoy the tea, and I'm going to treasure the time that I have to just relax under a nice cozy blanket and read. I just got the bread in the oven, and I can't think of anything better to go with it than a big pot of homemade chicken noodle soup. It's such a classic, and it's so delicious, so simple to make. So I'm going to throw a pot of that together so that it's ready for my dinner this evening, and I don't have to concern myself about what I'm going to make for dinner because I already have a great big pot of delicious chicken soup and fresh homemade bread pretty much right from the oven. There's something very meditative about making soup. Just the chopping of all of the vegetables, the addition of one ingredient after another to the pot, the aromatics that waft from the pot. And it's one of the reasons that I like to make it part of an afternoon like this one, because it relaxes me. It feels good. And I know that I'm going to be able to smell this soup and that fresh bread all afternoon, and it's going to somehow make it taste even better when I sit down to enjoy it for dinner. Soup making and bread making actually are really an art, and they are one of the things in the kitchen that you can endlessly learn more about and perfect. I am working on my bread making skills this year, and if you check out that Slow Living Hobbies video, you'll see that. And I already did a video in the fall about the art of making soup, so if you want to check that out, I'll link that down below as well. And I'll go ahead and I'll link a couple blog posts, a couple YouTube videos that I have for soup recipes. But right now, I am going to finish this good old-fashioned chicken noodle soup, perfect for a blustery cold winter day. And I am going to move on to just a couple more things that I would like to enjoy this afternoon before it's time to move into my evening. So I've got myself set up here at the kitchen table to do a little bit of sewing. This is a hobby that I love, and this is kind of the highlight of the afternoon for me. I had a really hard time deciding if I was going to do this or if I was going to work on a macrame kit that my sister got me. I've always wanted to do macrame, and she knew that. And she saw a kit. It's really pretty. It's a wall hanging, and she picked it up for me. And I haven't had time to get to it. And I'm dying to dive in. It's gonna be the first time that I've ever really done a macrame project. And gosh, I can just think of so many things that I want to do. with macrame, but I thought that I would work on this today because I had picked up some material. I picked up these to go together, and I picked up these to go together. And what I want to do is I want to make reusable napkins from them for the spring. I think that they're really pretty spring fabrics. And lately I've been using way too many disposable products, particularly paper towels. I've kind of fallen into that trap. With my move to North Carolina not working out, and then me landing here and not really landing on my feet, it's been very easy to fall into some habits of convenience that I had eliminated from my life. And I prefer to have them eliminated. So reusable napkins are a really great thing to have. And I would like to get at least a couple sets, at least these 2 sets of them done before spring. And who knows, I mean, maybe more, right? But I thought that it would be a good time to start that. I can sit right here at the kitchen table and I can smell the aromas wafting in from the soup and the bread. So it is going to be a pretty pleasurable afternoon. I should have a good hour, maybe even an hour and a half to work on these projects, and that might even be time enough to get them done. So my slow living winter afternoon is starting to come to a close. My dinner is almost ready. And I have a few things that I want to do tonight that are more work related. So I guess it's time for me to wrap it up. I am going to get cozy and warm and have a nice dinner, and then sit down for the evening to do some work on my laptop. But before I do that, I am going to take, I have a nice fluffy towel here that I'm pretty happy about because I just got new towels. And I have a coffee scrub that was gifted to me at Christmas that I have been dying to dive into. And I was sick for like 2.5 weeks, and then just so much going on that I haven't had time to really just enjoy it. And I have a nice pink scrubby, and I am going to take a hot shower to get the chill out of my bones before I just put on warm, comfy PJs and close the evening. But before I hop in the shower and enter into my evening, I would like to encourage you to take as many of these afternoons as you can, as many mornings, as many evenings as you can, to just enjoy the really simple things and get the most out of life. Now is the time that we're living life. We're not waiting to live it tomorrow. So now is the time that we need to enjoy this moment. And thank you, all of you, so much for being here with me today. I love having you here. We're going to get together again, and we're going to do it really soon.